2017 really seems to be the year of Logan's. Not only did we get a movie called Logan, which is this film, but also we get Logan Paul as well. Yeah, the YouTuber that we do not talk about anymore. But I just wanted to talk about him in the intro for fun. Yeah, but who the fuck likes him anyways? You know what I call X24, aka the clone of Wolverine? Jake. Hey guys, this is Frozen Wish Studios here, and welcome back to another movie review. And today, I'm going to be doing a review on Logan. So Logan is the third installment in the Wolverine trilogy and one of the later X-Men films. I'm not sure which number is it when it comes to like the chronological order, but whatever. So yeah, but it is the third and final film in the Wolverine trilogy that concludes the character of Wolverine. Even though the Wolverine and the Charles Xaviers in this movie are technically a different variant. And yeah, so it came out in the year 2017 and is directed by James Mangold, the same director as the previous Wolverine film, which I reviewed 2 days ago. And it stars Hugh Jackman, Daphne Keane, Patrick Stewart, Elizabeth Rodriguez, Boyd Holbrook, Stephen Merchant, Richard E. Grant, Stephen Donnelly, Eric LaSalle, and Elise Neal, etc. And so the film tells a story taking place in the future that where you may think is actually connected to X-Men: The Last Stand, but actually, not too long ago, I just discovered that this film is actually set in an alternate universe, and the Wolverine and Charles in this movie are technically alternate variants. They're not the same versions as the one in the main X-Men film. So this is technically kind of a standalone story. It takes place during taking place somewhere around like the borders area, like or at least near the borders, where basically Logan and Charles are on the hideout, as they're pretty much hiding from the world. Logan now is taking care of Professor X, and yeah, Logan meets this woman named Gabriella, who apparently he does not like, but Gabriella begs Logan to help her cross the Mexican border. But I mean, at first, Logan does not understand why Gabriella wants his help to cross the border when it could literally be anyone. But it turns out there is a reason why. It's because her daughter Laura is just like Wolverine. To everyone's shock, Laura is actually a female version of Wolverine called X23, and so. Now with their help and Gabriella got Logan, Charles, and Laura must go on a road trip in order to make it out of the border, while they're being chased after by a group of mercenaries led by Pierce and Dr. Rice. And so during the trip, Logan discovers that Dr. Rice is experimenting on kids who apparently have become mutant kids, and he does a legal experiment, and so yes, and Logan learns that these kids are also trying to cross the Mexican border just as much as Laura does. So they pretty much must work together in order to cross them and defeat them. But then X24 comes, which is pretty much a new clone of Wolverine, like an evil version of Wolverine. So yeah, sorry if it's not the best summarization. It's a pretty heavy plot. Now, yes, I do understand. I was able to understand the plot, but it is just pretty damn heavy, actually. So yeah. Yeah, now, yeah, out of all the X-Men films that I am reviewing leading up to Deadpool Wolverine, Logan is the one I am most hyped to talk about because, yeah, Logan is just a masterpiece. Like to keep it simple, I think everybody loves Logan. Like I don't know a single person who does not love Logan. Okay, maybe some who say that this movie is kind of overrated, but yeah, the general consensus is that Logan is the best X-Men film. So yeah, now yeah, I just want to give a bit of a story about this. Yeah, back in the days, yeah, when I first heard that they were making a third Wolverine movie, I did not know that anything else about this film other than the fact that it's an R-rated Wolverine film. No, I mean, oh, sorry, my bad. I did not know anything else about the film other than it's the third film in the Wolverine franchise. Never did I expect that this would actually be rated R. When I first saw the trailer for this film, I mean, it kind of looked a little off for me. Not, I mean, it did look like a good movie and one I wanted to see, but it just looks so different from what I expected. I could clearly see that it's more of a gritty story. But I think I did appreciate the trailer for taking this risk. When I first saw the trailer back in the days, yeah, but I wasn't expecting it already. So when I saw and heard that this movie is rated R, I was honestly pretty surprised. Yeah, but I'll admit though, but I just wasn't really too familiar with Logan back then, with the Wolverine and the character. I didn't really realize that he's meant to be an R-rated character, and that the previous films were heavily disregarded for being PG-13. Like there has never been an R-rated take on this character, even though there should be. And yeah, so and everybody saw it and they loved it. Sadly, I was too young to see this film. I was like only in my I just started becoming a teenager, so I did not see this one in theaters. Sadly, I wish I did, but it was very R16. I was 13, so my parents didn't allow me to see this in theaters. But eventually, when this film came on the digital, I was shown this film, and I absolutely loved it. Yes, it is different from the other X-Men films, but I mean that is a good thing. That is a major compliment to be made. And but yeah, and on rewatch today as I am continuing on my rewatch marathon leading up to Deadpool Wolverine. I gotta say, yeah, Logan is still a damn masterpiece. I absolutely love this film. I think Logan is one of the absolute greatest comic book movies of all time. I mean, of course, it is the best X-Men film, but saying Logan is the best X-Men film would be a huge understatement to me because, yeah, Logan really is like a top three comic book movies. I'd say it's my third favorite superhero movie of all time, right behind Avengers Infinity War / Endgame and Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Yeah, love it. In fact, it's also my favorite movie of 2017 as well. Yeah, I'm going that far. Yeah, I'd put this over Blade Runner 2049. Despite Blade Runner 2049 is the unanimous pick for the best movie of 2017, I don't blame them because Blade Runner 2049 would actually be my second favorite movie of 2017. But Logan takes the top spot for me. It's actually rare that I put a Marvel movie as my favorite movie of the year, and even a comic book movie in general. I have Infinity War as my favorite movie in 2018, and yeah, but then most of the years it would be overshadowed by a certain movie that I love more. I mean, if it wasn't for Frozen 2, then releasing in 2019, then Endgame would have been my favorite movie of that year. But oh well, it is what it is. But yeah, anyways, let's get into what I love about Logan. What makes Logan such an amazing film, a masterpiece, and the best one. Yeah, I think the first compliment that I'd like to give with this film is that it is one of the most different superhero movies I've ever seen. I know most people would complain that every single superhero films are the exact same thing. Like they just like the saving the world, shenanigans, all that stuff with the big action scenes. And while that never is an issue for me about superhero films being quote unquote formulaic and almost identical, yeah, I can understand why people don't like that, but you gotta admit though, you gotta appreciate Logan for being different from other superhero movies because Logan is not just a superhero film. It almost feels like it's disguised as a superhero film. Even though I personally still do acknowledge it as a superhero film, but it's much more than that. It's actually a western. It's a superhero drama, and it's rare that we get drama films under the superhero genre more than this. So yeah, this is one of the grittiest and most powerful superhero films I have ever seen. Yeah, it is just beyond powerful. Yeah, what this movie is, it's basically a heartbreaking redemption fable, which is disguised as a superhero film, and yeah, it's mainly a redemption story for Wolverine and him like trying to learn some good. Okay, well maybe I'm not sure how to exactly analyze this, but you can clearly tell that Wolverine's arc in this one. Yeah, because at first Logan starts off as this what do I say asshole. And then both Logan and Charles also admits that he does some wrong, and they both though discuss things about forgiveness and yeah, and also yeah, the themes are very heavy for a PG-13 film. I think making this film R-rated is the correct decision to make because this film tackles such heavy subject matter such as forgiveness, redemption, change. Adaptation, and also the psychology. And also it talks about death too. One major plot point in this film is Logan wanting to die. He is very old. He's aging, and he actually and his medications are pretty off. Yeah, Logan take yeah. Throughout the film, we see Logan trying to inject medications on Charles while also taking a lot on himself. And the film even ended with before the film's climax, we see like Wolverine like taking like way far too much medications, which led to his death. And yeah, I'll talk about his death later on in the review. But yeah, but what I'm trying to say is that it's a very somber story, a very heartbreaking story, and it's not just superhero, and I wouldn't even describe this as a fun movie, but it is a very depressing film, but I actually do think that it is a very enjoyable film. I wouldn't say fun and campy because I don't think it's the right word to use for a depressing film like Logan, but it's very engaging. It may on paper it may be another boring western that's slow paced, but the film is never slow throughout. Yeah, I have never seen a western film this fast paced. Even the Django Unchained or any other western films that people view as some of the most fun, even they feel slower paced in comparison to this film. I think that this is the western genre at its best. Well, if you count it as a western, I mean there are times when the movie gives you western vibes. The set around you, it does feel westernish, but it's mainly about these characters trying to cross the Mexican border in some ways, and it's plays off like a road trip movie, believe it or not. It plays off as that. And even though it is a heartbreaking drama, even some of the slower paced moments, the drama moments, I still cared about them. Like my eyes were glued to the screen. If I get bored, usually I'd stop paying attention. Maybe I get on my phone, but Logan never does that to me at all. Like I cared about everything that was going on, and man, the action scenes. You know what? I think I gotta get the action scenes out of the way right now. The action scenes are absolutely amazing. Some of the best action scenes I've ever seen in a superhero movie. Like, yeah, this is the Wolverine we've been waiting for, and it's so clear from the get go. This is an R-rated Wolverine, so of course you'd expect like blood and gore. And yeah, that opening scene made everybody's jaw drop. Like, holy crap! We've never seen Wolverine in this state. Yeah, because yeah, that opening scene alone when Wolverine fights off a bunch of gangs just shows how already sets the tone for this film. Already tells you what this film is going to be. Yeah, Wolverine just jacking off a lot of these guys, like cutting their arms and like slashing them so brutally with his claws, like chopping off their arms, their heads. Like, damn, like, yeah, it's very shocking. Like, yeah, so I can tell that would have been my impression if I saw this film in theaters. That was certainly my impression when I saw this for the first time. And I'm sure other audiences had their minds blown when they saw that opening fight. And because it's our first time seeing Wolverine like this, a gory Wolverine. And it just does not stop there. It does not stop there. Like you got a bunch of shots like Wolverine just like clawing people's heads, like slicing them off, slicing someone's arms off. Like it happens a lot of times. And yeah, the blood and gore in this movie is absolutely amazing. Yeah, yeah, especially that final battle, and the score as well. The score. Now I don't quite remember the composer's name, but whoever scored this film, deserves a round of applause because this score is just masterful. It's such a brilliant, masterful score. Like, it's so unique. It's so different. Like this is the kind of score that you don't hear often in a superhero flick, and I applaud that. And one of the best things about this film, one of the best aspects about this film is the performances. Hugh Jackman gives his greatest performance ever as Wolverine. I even looking at him in Deadpool Wolverine, I don't think he's going to top what he did here because this is an Oscar worthy performance. This is an Oscar worthy performance. If only the Oscars gave him recognition. And Patrick Stewart also gave an Oscar-worthy performance. This is his best performance yet. And he also got great performances from Boyd Holbrook and Richard E. Grant and Stephen Merchant as well. And now let's get into who the standout in the film is. And I think we all know who it is. It's Daphne Keane as Laura. Yeah. Laura is not only the best character in the film, but the best X-Men character. Period. Even though Jubilee is my X-Men crush, Jubilee from X-Men '97, I stand by that. Laura is still the best X-Men character. It does not change the fact that I love Daphne Keane. I mean, it sucks that she isn't in enough projects. Like, she hasn't even been in a movie since Logan. I know she is in His Dark Materials, which is a great show, and she is in The Acolyte, which she's my favorite character in the film, and the main reason why I actually love and defend The Acolyte, even though she did get killed off in Acolyte episode 5. Daphne Keane is still like the best character of the show. It doesn't change the fact that even though she won't be like in the rest of the show, and Acolyte's still pretty good. Even like moving on from her death, it's still a great show. Best Hour show, not really. I'll admit that The Acolyte isn't really the masterpiece I was expecting it to be, but it certainly is underrated, and I think people are giving it to watching. Oh, okay, okay. Well, let's talk about Logan. But even if I loved her character in The Acolyte, this is her best role. Yeah, X-23 is her greatest role. Yeah, back then nobody knew who Daphne Keane was, but now this role just makes me want to more. In fact, Laura is actually what really elevated this film for me. She's actually what made me love Logan even more. Although even without Laura, I still would have considered Logan to be my favorite X-Men film. But maybe it could have been like on the same level, on par with Days of Future Past or something. Like, and it wouldn't have been like in my top three comic book movies of all time. Yeah, like she is such a badass. Yeah, she is like a total badass. Like when she like like the first time we see her fight, like in the abandoned warehouse or something like that, where when what's his name, Boyd Holbrook character Pierce, when Pierce found him and his goons were like searching around for the girl, and then we see Laura like literally fighting them off. Like yeah, like that was awesome, and even seeing her like show off when she like slashed someone's head on screen, and then we see yeah, Laura like walking out with her head, with holding like the guy's head that she chopped. Yeah, and honestly, I gotta say, yeah, Laura is even better than Wolverine. She's like literally a better version of Wolverine. Yeah, and yeah, it's always it's a shame that this is the only film she's appeared in so far. I genuinely hope next. I genuinely hope we see her like in another film. Heck, maybe in Deadpool Wolverine she should appear. Yeah, and as much as I would love to see Taylor Swift in Deadpool Wolverine, I think Lara is top priority. Lara is who I desperately want to see in Deadpool Wolverine the most. So yeah, I don't really have a list on who I want to see the most. To me personally, the Deadpool Wolverine cameos would not really matter the most, but you know, how do I say this? But if there's anyone who I would want to see appear in Deadpool Wolverine, it's Lara slash X-23. Like, she is so good, man. Like, she's amazing. And even Daphne Keane's performance is superb. Yeah, one of my absolute favorite child performances ever put in film. Maybe my favorite child performance in film, but I'd have to like think about that and reflect on that. And what else? Oh yeah, the villains are great too. Sure, I'll admit this movie does not have the best X-Men villains. The villain in X-Men '97, what's his name? Briston. Sorry. Oh yeah. Bastion. Yeah, Bastion from X-Men '97 would be my favorite, and I'd put Magneto above him, and also Sebastian Shaw, who would be my personal favorite X-Men villain, and yeah, my favorite live action X-Men villain, but I still like them. Richard E. Grant, and I like how he's like another striker. And I'd say I prefer Dr. Rice over Striker for me. But yeah, Pierce is great too. It's a shame Boyd Holbrook followed this up with the Predator with his career. But out of all the villains in this film, the best villain would have to be X-24, the Wolverine clone. Yeah, what an amazing guy this is. Yeah, especially with that house scene with like that Christian family. Which, by the way, that's one of my favorite scenes in the film. The scene with that family. It's really sad to see them all like killed off. It's just wow. But yeah, yeah. The moment we see like this new version of Wolverine come in, like we can see like him like coming to Charles and literally killing him. Like it really, you really feel the suspense, the worry that, oh wait, is this the guy we think it is? Is it Wolverine? Like yeah, you may get confused at first, but then like a few seconds later, you'd realize, oh, that's actually the clone Wolverine, and yeah, and then we see Laura like fighting him off. Yeah, yeah. When my parents told me that Wolverine dies, I was actually wondering why how did he die? I actually did not know about this clone. I didn't even know he was in the film until I saw the film itself. So I'm actually glad that the trailers did not spoil that clone Wolverine for me. X-24, yeah. Honestly, on reflection now, as I'm talking about him, I actually think that X-24 is the best X-Men villain. Thinking about it, I didn't think about this earlier, but I really do think he is the best X-Men villain. So yeah. Oh, and also this movie has some of such heartwarming and inspirational quotes as well that you can quote that you can quote as well. You know, like this is what life looks like: a home, people who love each other. You should take a moment and feel it. Or wait, there's another one. I always thought we were part of God's plan. Maybe we were God's mistake. Yeah. Yeah, like these quotes are just so like so inspiring, and they really mean something. And yeah, of course, that emotional death of Wolverine. Honestly, guys, I find Wolverine's death to be even more emotional than Iron Man's death. Yeah, that's right. The saddest death scene in saddest death scene in any comic book film. In fact, it's even like it's probably Wolverine's death is probably my favorite scene in this entire film. And the best part of all this is Laura mourning for Wolverine and Laura mourning for Wolverine and calling him daddy. He's like, oh daddy, yeah. Oh man, it's just really heartbreaking. Yeah, who agrees with me that Logan's death is sadder than Tony's death in Endgame? So overall, Logan is one of the absolute best comic book movies of all time. I remember back when this movie came out, people called this the Dark Knight of Marvel, and it really sucks that people don't really include this in the conversation anymore when it comes to just talking about and discussing about what some of the greatest comic book movies of all time are. It's very different in a way that it's a more grounded approach to superhero stories. It has one of the greatest characters in a comic book film and the best X-Men character period, Laura. It's such an emotional and heartbreaking film, but it also has that same action spectacle. It just has a different vibe to it, and could say. And even though this is a drama, it never gets boring. Yeah, I know people say that this is Marvel's Dark Knight, just like I mentioned a few seconds ago. And while I love Dark Knight, I still think it's a masterpiece. To me, Logan is my Dark Knight. So with that said, I'm going to give Logan 5 stars out of 5. Perfect movie. So also for my review of Logan, what are your thoughts on the film? Would you agree with me that this is the best X-Men movie ever made? Do you love this film but don't consider it as the best X-Men film? Or do you think that this movie is a tad bit overrated? And yeah, I got a question. Who agrees with me that Laura is the greatest X-Men character, period? And yeah. Oh, and by the way, I forgot to mention, a couple of years earlier, like I think it was pre-pandemic, I pitched my own idea about a sequel to Logan, where Laura raises herself, and she pretty much grows up, and she pretty much get revenge on the people who were responsible for it. Well. Yeah, not really get revenge, but rather, yeah, it's just a journey about Laura, like growing up, raising herself, and like basically a coming of age superhero film. So yeah, comment down below, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and stay tuned for more videos to come. And yes, guys, my Deadpool review, my review of the two Deadpool films will eventually come, but it will come like when like on the same week as Deadpool and Wolverine, like on the 22nd and 23rd. That's when I'll review Deadpool. So, but right now I'll give the X-Men reviews a little break now that I'm done with the Wolverine trilogy, and I'll do more videos. I'll do other videos. So yeah, bye guys.